Uh, Before I ask our speakers to speak, let me just tell you very quickly how and why we got here. I think most of you know that the devolution of immigration enforcement policy from the federal to the state governments and localities is one of the most important developments in our immigration policy in the last 2 decades or so. A milestone in this happened in 1996, when the changes in our immigration policy gave birth to a new section to our Immigration Nationality Act called Section 287G. Section 287G, again, probably most of you know, authorizes the federal government to enter into agreements with states and localities to carry out certain aspects of immigration enforcement. Then something suddenly happened in 2007 and 2008. About 26 new agreements were signed in 2007, and about 28 new agreements were signed in 2008. So the numbers obviously increased, but also something else was happening with these agreements. They were getting more generic in nature, and they were increasingly becoming sort of instruments to pick up as many unauthorized persons in the localities as possible. By the time the Obama administration took office, there was some speculation that the new administration would terminate the program. In the summer of 2009, in an announcement by the DHS secretary, they not only decided to continue the program, but actually added a few new agreements. So that when we realized in the fall of 2009 that this program was going to stay, we decided it was time to look at the programs both in terms of its impact and in terms of its actual implementation on the ground. So with 71 agreements in effect in fall, we decided to do the study that we are now issuing the report about today.
So now to get to the findings. How targeted is the 287G program as currently operated? Well, we found that there is a lot of divergence and classified the programs generally, according to the data and our study sites, as universal or targeted programs. The universal programs being those that screen and place detainers on virtually everyone encountered in a jail or task force setting. In other words, all the unauthorized immigrants and removable legal immigrants that they encounter get an ICE detainer, get into custody, and begin removal proceedings, regardless of how serious the crime was that they committed in the first place. The targeted programs, by contrast, focus primarily on those with more serious violations. They adhere very closely to what we saw in the 2009 revisions to the program, focusing primarily on level 1s and level 2s, and less often placing detainers on level 3 and traffic offenders. Now, in reality, of course, there's variation, with some programs more targeted than others. There's a continuum among our study sites, and if you look in the appendix at the end of the report, there's quite a variety among the 70-odd programs nationally. And then as far as the second major question about state and local versus federal control, we found, in contrast to some previous reviews of the program, very close supervision by ICE agents of 287G officers, a daily presence in the jail settings, and frequent communication and task forces. But we also found that the local ICE officers who supervise the program tend to support the state and local priorities, even when this results in a more universal program.
The 287G program, and I want to be clear about this, the 287G program, in its intent, should be commended to ensure that there is a removal process for people that commit serious crimes in our country. However, in practice, what we see in the data, in Georgia specifically, and in other parts, that's not the case. I, as a community leader, should not be getting phone calls with regards to public safety. They are afraid to call police. What does that do for public safety in our communities if the immigrant community is not willing or able, out of fear, to call 911 to report a crime?
And I think the study has done a great job informing all interested parties of the challenges and offers solutions to some of these challenges in the immigration policies. It opens that door to further discussion and understanding. That open discussion and transparency are two factors that have played a large role in the success of the program in Las Vegas.